All right, everybody. I figured with an enormous NHL slate tonight, within the landscape of only a six-game NBA slate, maybe I would go ahead and take a shot at attempt to break down the hockey slate. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go game by game and reference kind of the way these players and these teams look within my sheets. And then what we're going to do is build kind of a shell build using SaberSim and see. I think it'll be interesting to see, number one, whether the SaberSim created builds kind of mirror the, player by player analysis that we kind of go through, using the sheets, and just kind of see, or maybe it's possible that we're going to be on totally different plays. Because remember that the key to building hockey lineups is finding that right correlation. And SaberSim does a really, really good job at kind of doing that for you. I can produce like really good projections, but figuring out who goes best with what, is really the key to this. And all the simulations that are done within the SaberSim program makes lineup builds, especially for hockey, one of the sports where SaberSim gives a lot of additional edge. But we're going to start by going, well, how do you want to do this? Well, let's first look at my sheets, actually, and then we'll go back to game by game. So when we sort everything by value plays, again, if you just kind of just like take one quick look and then one real quick look away, you know what you see? Nothing. I mean, like, you don't see any really big standout stack kind of dominating the front. I guess if you had to, you would identify a couple of things. You would see kind of a couple of Vegas guys up near the top. You'd see maybe a couple of Calgary guys kind of near the top. So if you gave me kind of like a name that stack thing, if you gave me literally 5 seconds to look at the sheets here, I would say Calgary, Vegas. And it's possible that's where we end up, but nothing really stands out. The one thing I will say is that if you look at this, you do have two one-off cheapos, that are not on teams that we're probably going to be stacking. Although, if you take a look real quick, like you see Detroit, you have Ron at 2,500. There are a couple of other Detroit guys in here. So maybe, just maybe, Detroit it's going to turn out to be kind of something worth doing. And then you'll see the St. Louis guy, the Brandon Saad. You got to really go down far to find the first St. Louis guy except for the goalie. So, again, real quick look, I would say maybe Detroit, Vegas, and Calgary. But let's take a look kind of game by game, and we'll kind of sort them and see what we like here. So the first game, Colorado against New Jersey. Let me see if anything kind of stands out for me over here. A little bit. We're looking for value scores kind of like approaching 30. So you actually do get like a couple of guys up here. So you have Kadri, McKinnon, Rantanen, Landeskog. Now these guys seem pretty reasonably priced, except for McKinnon's 8,800. But you also see the ownerships are pretty tame, I guess, a little less than 10%. So Colorado is, again, something we want to start off with. We might find other teams that eclipse them as far as good plays, but for now, let's start with Colorado being good. With, what I'm probably going to do one of these days, I'm going to make a stack tool similar to what I do for NFL and for LOL. Maybe I'll do that with hockey. Ooh, it's going to be interesting. Problem is I don't really do a great job with the lines, so it's not going to really be so great. Anyway, all right, so let's look at New Jersey. The New Jersey side of things is really nothing. See, like I can't find anything over 25 as far as a value score, so I'm not even going to look at that at all. So I guess the first thing I want to do is note that Colorado is so far the best play, and the guys that we identified. McKinnon, Rantanen, Landeskog, and you could correlate that with Kemper, the goalie, obviously, and you could play Kadri. So that's a good start. Want to put those in? Yeah, let's put those in just for the hell of it. So let's put in the cheap, the expensive guys too. So we'll put in McKinnon, Kadri, Landeskog, Rantanen, and then we'll put in Kemper as the goalie, just for starters. I don't know if we'll be able to get away with this 34.50 a man left, but it's something at least to start with. Okay, the aforementioned Vegas against Philly. Let's see if we can't do a little deeper dive in here and see what's going on here. So we suspected that Vegas is going to be a good play. Let's see how it looks when you isolate them by team. Yeah, so you have these top four guys that are just showing up as really good plays. And that would be, again, you get one goalie, Leonard, and then you get Pacioretty, Marchessault, and Eichel. So, again, what I like to do is put these guys in first, and then what we like to do is try to find guys that correlate well in case you want to put like a fifth or a sixth. But the good thing is that Sabreson will do that for you. But just for fun, let's put these guys in. So let's get rid of the Colorado guys for now. And we'll put in Eichel, Pacioretty, who was it? Marchessault, and who else was there? Eichel, the goalie, sorry. The goalie, Leonard, and then the defenseman is Shea, who fits in here as well. So let's put in Shea Theodore. We'll put him in. And you can see that this one allows you a little more leeway as far as what you can spend. All right, so far Vegas is actually looking really good here. Now let's take a look at Philly. Nothing really. I mean, if anything, a really weak one-off of Cam Atkinson, but really nothing worth playing there. So we're at Vegas, and we have Colorado, strong plays. All right, Florida, Pittsburgh. Let's take a look. Florida, no, just the goalie. Pittsburgh, maybe borderline. Gensel's a good play, kind of a good one-off there at 6,600. And then it's kind of a drop. So if anything, I would make Gensel kind of a good one-off. And then the rest of Pittsburgh being very, very secondary. Like Crosby, Carter, Malkin, Letang, those guys. So I would include Pittsburgh in my player pool. But if anything, I would just put Gensel as kind of a one-off. As a matter of fact, just again, just for fun, we'll put Gensel as one-off. And we already mentioned that we didn't like Florida, right? Let me just check that. Florida, yeah, especially coming off of the 6-goal performance last night, I wouldn't play them probably anyway. Okay, what's the next game on the list here? Okay, Seattle, Toronto. Again, I'm expecting Toronto to show up, but let's take a look. First, let's look at Seattle. Build suspense a little bit. Seattle, if anything, maybe McCann is an okay one-off. Maybe Jaden Schwartz a tiny bit at low ownership. So I'll put McCann in just for the hell of it in a second. But let's first get to the meat of this. Go to Toronto, see how they look. See if we can pop 30. Not really. I mean, just Austin Matthews as a one-off is the only thing that really stands out. And at 9,200 to play a one-off like that is rough business. So it's possible, but Toronto's not going to be a priority. What I do want to do is put that guy in from Seattle. And who's that, McCann? So let's put him in now, just for now. I guess we can put him in the center position. And you can tell we're going to be able to do this, whatever we want to do really easily with these guys. All right, Arizona against Detroit. Now, we already mentioned there was a strong one-off there. So let's go back and remind ourselves what that was. Detroit, was it Detroit, Arizona? Okay, so Detroit, we had Jacob Vrana as an extremely strong play. So if you want, we could pair that with Larkin and Fabry and even, and the goal even, but these three for sure, and really be in business. And Bertuzzi, this could be a really good value stack. So we're talking about Verana, Larkin, Bertuzzi, and Fabry. Let's take a look at Arizona real quick before we come back. Arizona, nothing. So let's put those guys in for Detroit. Let's take out for now, I don't know, let's take out the Vancouver, the Vegases. And I'm pretty sure you can get all this stuff really cheap. You got Larkin, 5,700. You have Bertuzzi, 5,700. Fabry. And then who was the cheapo there? Vrana, right? Is that what it was? Maybe Vrana, 2,500. So here, if you wanted to go play your one-off of Matthews, you could do it this way by stacking these Detroits. Then you can go ahead and then, again, if you really want to play Matthews, you could do that and still have plenty of room. So these Detroit stacks can really open up some room for the rest of your lineup. So I really do like that. Okay, Ottawa against St. Louis. Let's take a look. First of all, Ottawa, nothing really. Kachuk, marginal. And then St. Louis, remember we had the good one-offs. Let's see if we can't pair him with anybody. Not really, just Brandon Saad. So let's put him in as the good one-off. Put him in instead of Gensel for now. But it's not really a stackable situation with St. Louis. But this is a good one. Okay. Dallas against Nashville. That. Dallas, not really. Maybe some Jason Robertson, but not much. Who did I say they're playing? Dallas against Nashville, right? Nashville usually gets a little bit of juice here. Let's see how they stack up today, so to speak. Yeah, so you get Philip Forsberg and Matt Duchene as a really good combo. So you play two of those, then you add a third guy, you could put something in with that. So Forsberg and Duchene, they look really good. Just got to figure out who's going to be on their line, and then we'll be in business. So let's put those in for now. Put in Forsberg. Let's get rid of this Detroit thing for now. Forsberg, Duchene. So these Nashvilles could end up being something worth doing as well. So you have Nashville. We're adding that to our player pool. Rangers, Minnesota. I mean, we haven't looked at ownership yet, but we will in a second. Minnesota, nothing really. Rangers, maybe the goalie, but that's pretty much it. So we get to pass that game. Tampa, Winnipeg. We've gotten some juice out of those teams before. Let's see if you put the two of them together, if it rates to put up some fireworks. No, not really. Tampa's a little, very pedestrian today, and Winnipeg, let's see. Not really. So that game is kind of a pass. Got two more games left: Anaheim, Chicago, and Washington, Calgary. We talked about a little bit to expect something from Calgary, but let's see if that actually happens. Anaheim, Chicago. Anaheim usually doesn't show up for as much, but Chicago sometimes does. Yeah, Anaheim looks terrible. Chicago, yeah. So Chicago, not bad. So you have Patrick Kane, Tyler Johnson at cheap, and Alex DeBrincat. That's a pretty good combination there. So we'll go Kane, Johnson, and DeBrincat. See what that looks like. Kane. Is Johnson a Tyler Johnson? Not Tyler Johnson. Ty Johnson. As a wing. And then DeBrincat. It's another wing. So these Chicago guys are relatively cheap. I mean, you can get these guys in as well, especially if you use what's the name, Tyler Johnson. He's done well enough, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, he's got a couple of points in here. It's only 2,600. That's the thing. Washington against Calgary. We get to play or not play Ovechkin. We'll take a look at that. Oops. Take a look at the end. Maybe we'll play Cameron Payne in that game. First, we'll take a look at Washington, then we'll finish it off with Calgary. And then we'll look at ownership. Then we'll do a Sabres bill. So Washington, we have, I mean, yeah, you could do a one-off of Ovechkin if you want. Calgary plays really good defense, which is why his projection is not that great relative to guys like Matthews or whatever. But he looks fine. Not much you could pair him with maybe Oshie. That's pretty much it. And then let's see what these Calgary guys look like relative to everything else we've seen. Yeah, so Toffoli is really cheap, Tkachuk's really cheap, and Gaudreau's really cheap. So those three. So Toffoli, Tkachuk, Gaudreau. So let's put those guys in. Gaudreau, Tkachuk, and then Toffoli, what position is he? Toffoli, another wing. Now, obviously, we have to put a center in there to finish these stacks off, but you get the idea. So you have Calgary, this is what you'd expect to see. Some Calgary, a little Chicago, a little Nashville maybe, some Detroit, maybe Toronto, but I don't think so. Vegas and Colorado. That's what you expect to see. Let's see what you actually do see. And I'm going to be very curious to see what happens. So let's upload these to they're uploaded already. All right, so let's do a 20 max. Let's do a 20 max with this type of correlation, and let's see what we actually get. The first thing we're going to look at and see how it breaks down the stats, because I'm going to probably manually tinker with that because I don't want a bunch of 2-2-2s and stuff like that. I want to get the correlation that I think is befitting of a good hockey GPP lineup. Although, I mean, I should say that the Sabres are supposed to factor that in for you. So if you're getting a 2-2-2-2, it's probably for a reason. So maybe I won't totally X out the 2-2-2-2 builds, for example. Let's just see what it looks like. We guess what's going to happen here. I think it is going to be somewhat spread out between those four teams. But I've been surprised. Sometimes I get you'll see a lineup where I get like 80%, 80% Rangers or something like that, even though I didn't like any of them. That's because of the way the simulations work. I mean, you want to get, you don't want to get the optimal. You want to get something that comes up in a sim. Like, for example, let's take a look. So team stacks, without any tinkering, we have 50. Oh, it's true, actually. We got 50% Colorado, 30% Detroit, 25% Nashville, 25% Chicago, 20% Calgary, and then we'll look at Toronto. Okay, so it looks as though, interestingly, the projections are mirroring the actual Sabres sim builds, which is pretty cool, and it actually is giving me the type of stack types that I kind of want. So this is actually kind of an interesting result. Okay. So that is my breakdown. At least this is like very early. Okay, probably half these guys aren't even playing, but that's my breakdown early of this very, very big hockey slate, and at least gives you a couple of teams to kind of focus in on, and just make sure that you have goalies that are playing. I was in the 300 last night, and I didn't even bother checking, and my goalie was out. Not that it would have mattered, but it's nice to know that your goalie's playing. Just make sure that you get there right at like 10 minutes to go, and they make it so easy for you to swap into somebody else that there's really no excuse, except for laziness, which I exhibited last night with supreme with extreme prejudice. All right, that'll do it. Good luck, everybody.